once the actual training began, we started to learn a lot more about dynamics. We learned some essentials of React, and furthermore, React Redux, which was new for me, in particular Redux, but kind of came pretty easily coming from a React background. Also learned a lot of C#, so for the plugin side of things with Dynamics, which was cool. And I learned that object-oriented debugging is a lot simpler than in JavaScript, which is nice. But yeah, those were some of the essentials. I think the major component was just learning kind of the ins and outs of the Dynamics platform.
Cool. And I'll give a little background, like when Nolan finished his training and he started working with one of our main partners, Accenture Federal Services, and I would like you to talk about your current role, what are you working on, and what's your role about?
Yeah, so right now I'm part of the TMT team, so that's task management tool for AFS. Me and a few others are sort of on the front end side of things. So thankfully, we had pretty extensive interview process with AFS, and they got to know through Smoothstack, communicating this with them, what my background was, where I was most comfortable, or where I had the most knowledge, versus Robert, who is also on the TMT team now, who is joining with me. And he was coming much more from the C# plugin side of things. He was much more familiar there. So thankfully, they recognized where our strengths lied and placed us appropriately. So he's dealing with more plugin work, and I'm basically primarily working in React these days, although I'm dipping my toes more and more into some of the dynamic side as it gets necessary. But yeah, mostly just working on kind of a UI overhaul of one of the main features of the task management tool. Right now, we actually just had our first release of that new fresh coat of paint, and we'll be releasing the second release pretty soon. Yeah, I think the hardest part going into Accenture was just recognizing the overall structure of how things work specific to the task management tool. So the structure of the code base and things like that, more so than anything like technical, I guess.